Welcome to Policy on Demand. I'm Everson Ascencio. This episode is being filmed at PwC Customs International Trade Forum in Dallas. And we are going to talk about the impact of tariffs on the automotive industry. And joining me here today, there are Brian, Houck, and Andrea Apostolopoulos. Welcome. Let me start the conversation asking a couple questions for you guys. I think we're going to see this one for you, Brian. So President Trump policies, executive orders, expanded the tariffs on the products and the countries that impact the automotive industry. Where do you think this current stand?
Out of all the sectors, it's one of the most interesting ones, and one of the areas that I think Trump, in his last administration, has been very vocal about protecting. So there are commitments out there made to the automobile industry, in particular the workers, about how we evolve this. I think in all these situations, there's a glass half full, glass half empty. While the downstream potential impacts to all of us that are looking to shop for a new car, could create some challenges. I think from the perspective of the American worker, this is an industry that there's a clear signal that we want to rebuild. So I think with particularly the workers, a lot of excitement about this opportunity. And you're seeing a lot of first moving already. If you track the news every day, there's auto manufacturers making announcements about reinvestment in the U.S. What's even more interesting about that is, always the assembly that we've held tight to is that now we're looking back in the value chain of different areas, whether it be castings or metals that were largely pushed outside the U.S. Over the course of 20 years of investments coming back in some of those core inputs. So we're really excited about watching how this unfolds and believe that there's some very interesting things that the automotive industry will experience kind of as first movers around some of these changes that a lot of our other clients in other industrial areas and other with similar manufacturing areas are keeping a close eye on.
Andrea, question for you. There's a lot of announcements going on the trade environment, right? We're going to have both America First trade policy. We're going to have the reciprocal tariffs. What do you see coming?
What we see is that tariffs are here to stay, and this is not the first time this happens. Back in 2019, Trump announced significant tariffs on China. They were kept through the Biden administration, and now we're back with additional tariffs. So we know that the administration is serious about keeping tariffs, especially for certain jurisdictions. We have some additional tariffs for other countries that we're expecting, and conversations around renegotiation of free trade agreements. So USMCA is one of the hot topics, negotiating the terms of the agreements, potentially creating additional and stricter rules. And that gives our clients the opportunity to review their processes, understand where they are, and those who analyze these operations under the lens of tariffs and strategize with the mitigation strategies will have competitive advantages over the others.
Great, Andrea. I think governance is about on the free trade agreements and avoid the paralysis, right? Avoid the paralysis is the most important one. Brian, another one for you here. So it's going to be in connection. You guys both spoke already, but so as the tariff rates continue to evolve, right? What actions should the U.S. multinational companies take in consideration?
Well, I think the first action is put tariff as a sub bullet point over bigger things that are happening. It's clear that the world is evolving. Businesses are evolving, and what we say is don't waste a good crisis. So at the end of the day, tariff is really the tip of the spear about an enormous amount of downstream changes that we expect this administration to go after. But it's also contextualized in a lot of things going around the globe: trade conflicts, wars, different global restructuring. So it is an opportune time to really take a step back and reinvent your supply chain and ask yourself, is how we're doing things today going to be viable in 5 years? What are the changes that we need to be able to quickly adapt to uncertainty, which is the big word of the moment? And how are we going to get ahead of our competitive set to take advantage of these changes and view them more positively? I think people are still in this mode of everything coming at us is negative. But if we want to take, again, a glass half full view, it's like, how can we actually separate ourselves from a competitive set, do things different ways and really reinvent the way we do business in unique ways that puts us in a better place than maybe when this whole thing started.
Yeah, absolutely. Pushing us out of our comfort zones, right? Looking again and look for the opportunities. Now that's great. So Andrea, where do you expect the things to go from here, and how the companies like best stay on the top of the best developments?
Starting with that last question, companies that apply strategic analysis of their customs operations will have significant advantage over the others, especially in these times where there are a lot of shifts. Things are very dynamic. We have new announcements coming every week on trade implications, on tariffs. So the companies that prepare, that are able to, like I said before, that are able to simulate, put different outcomes under different scenarios, they will have significant advantage over the others. It's not what we see in the industry is a lot of companies are applying the wait and see approach, and that might not be the smartest use of their time. Wait and see is fine. We're not saying that they necessarily need to make big shifts in production, bringing plants from overseas to the U.S. and start, from one day to the next, operating under a U.S.-based manufacturing plant, because that takes time, takes investment, and we know that doesn't happen overnight. But preparing, using the data that they have, and preparing for what's about to come, that's what gives them a significant advantage. We don't have a crystal ball, but we have indicators of what's to come. We know tariffs are real. We've had tariffs implications since the first administration, right? Back in 2019, we had China tariffs. These did not go away. We don't have any reason to expect anything different this time around, especially with some jurisdictions. We know when we talk about USMCA and tariffs on Canada and Mexico, those tend to be contentious. We know there's an underlying agreement that covers operations for eligible goods. So maintaining eligibility, keeping your options in terms of supply chain, and planning ahead will be the differential between companies that are successful this time and companies that are not.
That's great. Okay. So Andrea and Brian, I appreciate you guys have the time here. Fantastic event here in Dallas. And I appreciate you guys to be in this Policy on Demand with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.